Hey everyone, Gil here at Camppatton Family Compound. Well, I got the hat on. Everything's going hat. So what we're going to talk about today is which states are the best prepared, which ones are the least prepared. Basically, what brought this on was I get emails from different companies, and one of them puts out a newsletter, and it said the 5 best and least prepared states in the United States. And it's like, okay. So I was looking at it, and I went through the thing article, and and they had a little picture spreadsheet thing, a picture diagraphic up there, and it's like, nah, it can't be right. And so I'm going to address that one here also. And I started looking at some other ones to see what other people's take on what was the best prepared and least prepared states in the United States. So, well, let's go over here this way, and we're going to look and see what we have here. One of the things I noticed was people were talking about being prepared for different things. And I'm going to show you some of the oddball things that came up. One of the questions, though, that I want to address is who's prepared, the state or the people? So we're going to address kind of both. The state, which is the best and least prepared states from the state standpoint of the state and from the standpoint of the people. But for statistics, people can come up with statistics to prove anything. 14% of the people know that. Remember that. So I took a real close look at what some of these people were saying, what they were using for their statistic data baseline. There we go. All right, the first interesting thing that popped up was not what I was looking for. And so this is a report card on climate change preparedness by state. And just looking at this, I knew right off the bat that they were skewing it to a specific perspective, trying to elicit you to think one way. And sure enough, they were talking about which states have the most laws on the books and are trying to push the stuff for climate change. Anyway, so, and because of that, hey, once again, it proved that people can come up with statistics to prove anything. 23% of the people know that. One of the other ones popped up was the 10 states least prepared for a pandemic. And I'm looking at this, and I just started busting out laughing because this is so full of manure. Because according to this, Idaho should be the worst off state in the union. We're not. And then I started digging into it, and they're not talking about the states being prepared. They're talking about doctors, hospitals, and insurance companies being prepared in the states. Right. So they're taking specific statistics for one thing and giving it a clickbait leader. So once again, people can come up with statistics to prove anything. 32% of the people know that. But we're going to talk about emergency preparedness here. Looking at states first, I found an interesting tidbit here about states with emergency funds accounts. And basically, they set emergency funds aside in special accounts for use for emergencies. Some states, those in orange, have multiple accounts set up. The ones in teal, the greenish color there, they just have one disaster or emergency account. And the ones that have the kind of red in there, they have what's called a contingency account. And then the gray ones are those that don't have an account for emergencies. Based on just that, once again, people come up with statistics to prove anything. 44% of the people know that. For natural disasters, I found this one here listing, the most and least prepared states for natural disasters. I'm looking at it, and number 1 there looks like Iowa, and then I noticed something in the leader here. Goes through it because when it comes to potential life-threatening weather, who's most prepared? We ranked all 50 states on their disaster preparedness data, or using data from FEMA, local governments, the National Guard, and the American Association of Civil Engineers. Well, let me pick this apart. FEMA does not track how states are prepared. They track on how states come to them for funding under the Stanford Act to get funds to replenish what they did. And if you're using that data, you're going to find out who's had the most disasters and has filed for financial aid reimbursement from FEMA. Now, local governments, most of them have told this organization to go pound rocks. They're not releasing their data because they're not a government agency that they don't report to. So they told this group to go. National Guard. Now, some states, the National Guard has never responded to a natural disaster emergency. So, they haven't responded, so they're not prepared. They have no plan. That's what these guys' take was. And the American Association of Civil Engineers, those guys don't know squat anyways about this. I mean, just the whole thing on this was all screwy because the way they list the states is not how the government lists these states, who's being prepared for it. Because FEMA has one list, Homeland Security has another list, Department of Interior has another list. And once again, people can come up with statistics to prove anything. 57% of the people know that. The first one I saw from that newsletter, this is what the newsletter gave out. They listed 5 least prepared states in the country and the 5 most prepared states. Well, the least prepared states, going from number 5 to number 1 being least prepared, Illinois, Massachusetts, New York, Rhode Island, and the loser was New Jersey. Well, then they also listed the 5 most prepared states in the country. Oregon, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, and the winner being Utah. And then they had their little disclaimer. Let me go on here. This was their map they showed on it, showing the states, most prepared on down. And then they have some other data down here below, but they had this disclaimer across the top here, and I moved it down here to make it more visible. Every state was given a score based on population and the number of orders placed from each state. So they're saying the number of orders placed to each state from BePrepared.com, and they rated each state based on how much supplies they bought from them. Well, wait a minute. Some states don't buy a lot of supplies because they grow their own, or they order them from other companies. I'll give you 3 guesses, guys, 3 guesses, which state this company is based in. The first 2 guesses don't count. Could it be the number 1 state on there? Utah? Yes, they're in Provo. These guys were basing their thing of the least and most prepared by how much stuff people buy from them. One of the things I love about this, about the joke of this, is people that are actually prepared aren't buying supplies from this company. If they're really prepared, have gotten into it, they're not buying their supplies from these guys. And so this proves that, hey, anybody can come up with statistics to prove anything. 69% of the people know that. So I came up with my own kind of list here. 5 types of people least likely to get prepared based on not statistics, just on what I've seen. Probably the group most least likely to get prepared are multi-generational welfare recipients. Those whose parents they're on welfare, their parents were on welfare, and possibly their grandparents were on welfare. They're not going to get prepared. Then you have the group that is, I believe I'm entitled to be supported in everything I do. And then there's the next one is everyone's trying to put me down group. They're not going to get prepared. Then there's the government will take care of us group. That they believe that, the government, they've drank the Kool-Aid and they believe the government is here to serve us and protect us and take care of us and wipe our noses and change our diapers. And then the 5th group I put up here was nothing ever bad happens to me or my area. I don't need to get prepared. So that's my opinion. You guys could have your own. Please put your opinions down below in the comment section. Nothing nasty, just, what groups you think would be. And then, the 5 types of people most likely to get prepared. I came up with homesteaders because, hey, that's what they do for a living. They grow their own food. They raise animals. They put away meat. They put away vegetables. They put away food. They try to get prepared. Off-gridders, those that are totally off the grid, totally self-sustained. Hey, they've got to be prepared that they're self-sustained. The next group most likely to get prepared are hunters. Because, hey, they may live in the cities, but they go out and they go hunting and they bring back food and they stock up other supplies and stuff as well. Skilled trade workers. This group that I've seen and worked with, these guys aren't your college educated ones that have drank the Kool-Aid. They're the ones that came up college of hard knocks. They've learned skills. They've worked for everything they've got. Nothing was handed to them on a platter. They know they have to work for what they have, and they're going to protect it. They're going to protect their family. They're going to get supplies and stuff to protect their family. And then the last group here, and this is going to be controversial for some of you people, are conservatives. Those that do not believe in big government, those that don't think they should have to rely on the government, that they need to rely on themselves. You know, there are some people, well, there's more liberals getting prepared now. Yes, there are more liberals starting to get prepared, but as a group, as a whole, there are way more conservatives being prepared than there are liberals who still believe that the government should take care of everything, wipe their noses, and change their diapers. Chuck Norris approves of that last group. So, all in all, which state is the best prepared state? Well, you ready for the shocking answer? Here it is. You got to do your own research, because what you consider to be prepared, others may not. But here are some things for you to consider as you do your own research to figure out which one is best prepared. What laws do they have on the book for preparedness and against preparedness? Yes, some states have laws against people getting prepared. What sort of finance setup does the state have for emergencies and stuff? Do you have multiple emergency funds accounts? Do they have relief programs in place, financial programs in place to reimburse those or help those that have been suffering? Do they have preparedness programs in place, such as the CERT program, offer incentives for community colleges and stuff and adult schools to put on emergency preparedness programs? Do they support the emergency preparedness fairs and stuff like that? What is the demographics of the state? Touching back to some of the things I mentioned, the two groups, those least likely and most likely to get prepared. What is the demographic of the state? Are they most likely not going to get prepared, or are they most likely going to be prepared? What is the history, the track record history of the state for emergencies and for supporting preparedness? Those are some, not all, some of the things you need to consider in doing your own research as far as whether a state is on the best prepared list or the worst prepared list. You need to, I could tell you what my preference is. Heck, if you've watched my videos, you know what my preference is. My wife and I spent years looking for what state we're going to retire to, because we wanted to get out of California because of their track record. There were a lot of other factors dealing than what I mentioned there, as far as why we settled on Idaho. There are a lot of things to look into to help you decide what is the best and least prepared state, and which one is going to be best for you. And with that, I would like to remind everyone to stay happy, stay safe, stay prepared, and don't forget to watch the end screen here, where I will recommend a couple of videos that you really should check out. Take care, guys. See you later.